Hi there, history fans, and welcome back to another reaction video where we try to learn something new and to spread history on YouTube. Okay, as I said, today we have the video from Sam Nella Academy, Why It Sucked to Be a Pirate, and yesterday we had the video from C.G. Gray, How to Be a Pirate. So it would be interesting to see in which parts they kind of have the same topic or same theme or same sentiment about piracy and pirates, and where they differ. If you didn't watch the first video, I would encourage you to go after this video to watch the other one, so you can get a good comparison about those two videos. If you want to join our history community, there are two ways you can join. You can subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can get informed when new videos come out. You can give your inputs, additional information, correctness, whatever interesting stuff you have about the topics regarding the videos in the comment section below. And the second thing is you can join our Discord server. The link is going to be in the description below. And there you can continue the discussion about that topic or other topics. You can see if you join the Discord server. Okay, as always, the original video or the link to the original video is going to be in the description below. Go give Sam Nella a like and a view because he definitely deserves it. We already covered, I think, 2 videos that he made. And it's always great. It's always fun. And I like the simplistic way how he does his cartoons or animations or whatever you want to call it. It's really entertaining. Okay, let's and always I will give some additional information, maybe some interesting things that I know. So yeah, let's jump in to the video.
Hey, little Jimmy.
Yeah, what's up?
Do you like Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah, it's alright.
So do you think it'd be fun to be a pirate?
Yeah?
Well, guess what? You couldn't be more wrong.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I know. At some point, every kid has dreamed about being a swashbuckling, corn-shuckling, wife-cuckling, cocksuckling pirate, but trust me when I say, it was really not all it's cracked up to be. First, we'll talk about...
Yeah, as I said in the last video, piracy is hundreds and thousands of years present. So we have today the well-known Somali pirates, but in Roman times there were pirates, and before them, and so on. So before Christ and so on. But somehow, every time you talk about piracy and pirates, the stereotypical image that you get is the pirates of around the 17, 18 century with the gunboats and so on. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. I have the feeling that it's kind of more represented than, I don't know, some ancient, I don't know, in ancient Rome times, pirates.
to be. First, we'll talk about the food. So one staple of the pirate diet was salted meat, usually wild oxen or pork. And I love jerky as much as the next guy, but this wasn't like a bag of Jack Links. In fact, it was probably closer in texture to your shoes than any meat you've ever eaten. In those days, you couldn't just snap into a Slim Jim. That's a modern luxury that we take for granted. Back then, the slogan was, gnaw on a Slim Jim for minutes on end, grinding it between your molars while the gallons of salt turn your mouth into a desert until the mangled hunk of flesh in your mouth is just soft enough to be shoved down your greasy fucking pirate throat without tearing a hole. Another essential food item was known as hardtack. This was essentially just flour and water baked into a cracker-like brick. Beyond the fact that it was totally flavorless, hardtack was also extremely dense, to the point where pirates would often have to slam their fists down on it in order to break it into pieces small enough to fit in their mouth. As long as it was kept dry, hardtack almost never spoiled, although it often became infested with weevils. Excuse me, sir? I'm a vegan, so can I have a new piece? One without any of Mother Nature's beautiful creatures in it? Thanks. Wait a minute, is this gluten-free? This better be hemp rope. Nah, but the weevils didn't make you sick or change the taste all that much, so, and this is true, the crew would just eat it in the dark, so that way they couldn't tell if they were eating a normal chunk or a weevily one. Then there's the crowding.
Yeah, regarding the food, yeah. Food was terrible back then, especially on ships in general, not only by pirates, but in merchant ships and whatever. And you need to take into account, why was the food that bad, let's call it that way, or not tasty or whatever. It's because the crew members and the crew and the ship were always on a long ride for weeks, days, weeks, even months. So you need to have food which you can preserve. And regarding salt, as I said in the last video, really check it out. It's really interesting. Salt was a main way in which you would preserve food. And salt was very valuable for the people back then and throughout centuries. And even wars were fought because of salt. Not only because it's an ingredients to food, but also if you put meat and, I don't know, fish and so on, if you cover it with salt, it would be preserved more easily, or would be preserved. So you can eat it, I don't know, in a week. So like an old-fashioned refrigerator, salt refrigerator. So that's why they had that kind of food, which was really bad. But yeah.
So pirate ships typically packed in as many crew members as possible, because more pirates means more manpower when you go to board an enemy ship. Of course, the downside to that is that you're basically like a bunch of hairy, unwashed sardines. Let me illustrate what a typical night below deck was like. So you're sprawled out on the damp, musty wood floor. Everything's pitch black, you can't see a thing. The smell of the filth and the mold forces you to only breathe through your mouth. Suddenly, your left hand feels wet, probably just seawater leaking through the hull. You sniff your hand, nope. No, that's piss. You feel something furry rub up against your elbow. It was either the body of a diseased rat or the beard of your diseased crewmate. Either way, that's probably where the piss came from. Some guy's moaning loudly in the next room. Hopefully he's just jerking off, because if he's dying, that's one more body to deal with in the morning. Rinse and repeat for 8 hours, and then it's daytime. The poor diet and cramped conditions led to disease being a huge problem aboard pirate ships. The most well-known of these...
just regarding the crew size, yes. Most pirate ships would operate, okay, let's just imagine a pirate ship like in the 18th century or 19th century, whatever, with cannons, like a stereotypical ship that you would imagine when you think about a pirate ship. Their main focus wasn't firing on the opposite ship, like to start a crossover fire with the enemy ship that they wanted to plunder, to get the booty from. But the main idea was to get as close to the ship as possible and then raise the flag, the pirate flag, and then you would board the ship and either fight or just get the booty. And as CGP Grey said in the last video, most of the time the merchant ships and so on, they would just give up their booty, because if they didn't do it, they would be tortured by the pirates. So a big presence of manpower on a ship when you come close is a big psychological effect on the enemy. So just imagine, I don't know, on a deck, I don't know, you have 50 crew members or whatever, and the enemy ship has also 50 crew members that you can see. You're like, okay, we could maybe take on the fight. But if there are 200, then you're like, okay, and they're already close, so they can eventually dock your ship. Very interesting stuff.
These diseases is scurvy, where you don't get enough vitamin C. When
Okay,
scurvy
diseases.
first begins, you just kind of feel tired all the time, no big deal. Then you get weird spots on your skin and your gums start bleeding. This progresses until all your teeth fall out and all of your body's mucous membranes start gushing blood and pus, causing you to die. So that's a lot of fun. There were tons of other diseases too. I won't go through them all, but here's a few honorable mentions. Also, some people say that alcoholism is a disease. I might just be disturbed, but that's one sickness I could definitely get down with. If it is a disease, then yeah, just about every pirate had this one. If anything, though, I'd call that one of the few upsides of pirate life. Finally, there's the combat.
Regarding alcohol, yeah, it was a common thing for them to consume big amounts of alcohol, and some of the pirate ships even had it in their in their rules or rules for the ship that that the alcohol should be redistributed equally among the members, that it shouldn't be whatever. So they had explicit rules for handling alcohol. It's very interesting.
If anything, though, I'd call that one of the few upsides of pirate life. Finally, there's the combat. So you've gone through all these disgusting, horrible living conditions, but at least you can enjoy the thrill of battle, right? Swinging from rope to rope, sword in your mouth, long, intense saber duels, that kind of thing. But that's typically not how it went down. For one thing, when pirates boarded a ship, 9 times out of 10, they'd just surrender immediately. Because what are a bunch of well-groomed merchants going to do against a horde of disgusting barbarians? If the defending ship did decide to fight back, though, the resulting brawl wouldn't be anything like the movies. It'd be way worse, like immediate R rating. Because pirates rely a lot on brutality, both because they don't have much real training, and because it scares the shit out of people. If you were a deckhand on an invaded ship and you were stupid enough to fight back, you wouldn't be dancing around doing flips and shit, none of that. Instead, they'd probably shoot you in the stomach with a flintlock pistol, kick you to the ground, chop off your shoulder blade with a hand axe, gouge out your eyes with a marlin spike, wind your intestines around the prow, and then toss your twitching body overboard. And that's only a slight exaggeration. Honestly, if Jack Sparrow got attacked by actual pirates, he wouldn't last a second. It's kinda like a used car salesman going to prison, like, I'll be fine. If anybody tries intimidating me, I can get out of it with my quick wit and charming personality. Boy, you look real pretty from behind. Oh wow, I'm boned. So yeah, in short, if you were thinking about pulling a Captain Phillips anytime soon, I'd advise against it. That's all for today. Till next time, I'm Sam and Nella, and thank you for watching.
Yeah, nice. I would. There are going to be polls up in the upper corner of the video, so please consider taking part in them. I really appreciate your opinions and thoughts on different questions that I could ask about this video. But yeah, as I said at the beginning, a big chunk, a big percentage of the merchant ships that got docked on by pirates, they just surrendered because there's no point in fighting against the pirates, because you could either lose your life, I mean, most certainly because they're more trained than you. They're not so, like they have better equipment because they're, like their life is being on a boat and handling and attacking other merchant ships and so on. But if you give up just your cargo, your cargo, the things that your ship carries, you're just going to be left alone. And that had actually a big psychological effect on other merchant ships in the future that would be docked by pirates. Why? Because then, just imagine yourself in that scenario. You're somewhere in the, I don't know, in the Mediterranean Sea, and a pirate ship comes and wants to get your booty, and you heard the story 1,000 times. If you resist, you're going to be tortured and whatever. But if you don't resist, if you just give up your cargo to them, then you're free to go. So why would you take the risk? And that could be a question. I'm gonna ask that question. If you would fight them, or if you would just give up the cargo. I think that most people, if you put yourself into that position where no Navy vessel or Navy ship is around from a country and so on, I think that most of the people would just give up the cargo and just say, okay, leave us alone. Yeah, it's really interesting. Go check the other video out. It's also very interesting. Compare those two. I would really like to hear your opinions, your thoughts, additional information that you have. Interesting information, because we're all here to learn from each other and from the great creators on YouTube. And yeah, that's about it. See you until next time.